Hey!
Yay!
I'm glad that worked.
No, I'm glad that worked. We were very nervous for a moment. We're not going to bore you with our ongoing tech woes, but we weren't. It said going live for a lot longer than it normally goes live when you click go
When
live.
Alan says, just before we go live, maybe we should have rebooted the router. That's not the words that go on.
Well, especially as we know, I say a colleague, just someone we know in the business world, not a colleague at all. They had the same issue this week where their live didn't happen because they weren't quite ready. Now we are live, but there we go. Now we are live. Oh, we are literally live. Done. Right.
Cool.
Tested, checked, all is good in the world.
Welcome, everybody. We hope you're well this evening.
So what number Ask an Expert are we on?
64? 65?
60? No, it's not 65. I'm going to go
64.
with 64.
64.
64. Yes, I have to check. Ooh.
So welcome everybody. If you're new to Ask an Expert and The Outside Bride, my name's Emily.
And I am Alan Braithwaite. We are the amazing outdoor wedding specialist.
Amazing. Blow your own trumpet there, Braithwaite.
Yeah. Do you know what someone once said to me? No one else is going to do it, so why don't you do it? And they said that to me when I was like 14 years old. Some one of my scout leaders. So there we go. That stuck with me. But we are the amazing outdoor wedding specialists behind the Outside Bride, bringing you everything from planning tips to inspiration to free advice like this, where we sit here and we answer all of your outdoor wedding questions for the billions of people who follow us on the interweb.
So before we start all of the fun stuff we're going to talk about this evening, as always, if you want to give us a little thumbs up, a little like.
Formalities, yes.
The formalities, that'd be amazing.
So someone, Dennis from his Coffee Walk said, like, tag, share, subscribe. But that doesn't quite work on this one.
If you'd like to give us a thumbs up, that'd be great. If you'd like to subscribe to our channel and you're watching on replay, you can see a little button just about here.
Yes,
if you'd like to give that a little click, that'd be awesome. And if you're listening on podcast, welcome. You cannot see the hideous shirt that Alan's wearing today. It is...
No, it's really not nice, is it?
It's one of your choice Hawaiian shirts.
Have I discussed Hawaiian shirt gate?
There is no Hawaiian shirt gate. It's just somewhere lost in the laundry.
Look, viewers, listeners... Sorry, say that again. It's somewhere lost in the laundry.
Somewhere.
Okay, ignore Emily. I've lost one of my favourite Hawaiian shirts. I have no idea where it's gone. It only dawned on me when I was recycling ones I wasn't actually happy about wearing, when eventually it dawned on me that my favourite was missing.
But it's not your favourite. It's hideous. It's like circa 1982. I think it was a hand-me-down from your dad.
It was a hand-me-down. I was wondering whether to admit that.
It's too big. It's nasty.
Yeah, you know why? Because I like snug-fitting tops, and one of the reasons I like that Hawaiian one is because it is a bit bigger. Anyway, regardless of what Emily, my wife here, thinks, business partner, friend, and all everything else, it is one of my favourites. And I don't know where it's gone. And the weird thing is, it's like if we actually went out and left this house, I'd go, I've just left it somewhere. But we haven't been anywhere. And it's not in the washing because contrary to anything anyone said,
Alan is also touting there because he's basically saying he's short of Hawaiian shirt and he needs some more Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
So if anyone here watching is a Hawaiian shirt producer, like manufacturer, or you have a shop that has amazing Hawaiian shirts, I think Alan's touting for some free stuff.
I'd love it. I've never thought about being sponsored for Hawaiian shirts before.
Well, there you go.
Yes,
I mean, they're all hideous. So the worse, the better. It isn't good. And it's that really shiny.
No, this was a particularly naff one bought off of the internet.
But anyway, podcasters, back to the point. Yes. Thank you for listening. We hope you're well. And if you'd like to heart, whatever it is you do.
So it's heart and follow on SoundCloud and ratings and reviews on iTunes.
That's always appreciated too. But enough of that. Let's talk about our week. How has our week been?
Well, we had a brilliant week, actually.
Yeah.
I'm always a bit stuck to think about what we did. But I know one of the bits we will talk about is you had a meeting with one of our brides from the Outside Bride. Well, they'd won this one in particular. They'd won our 1-hour consultation to talk through their wedding.
So we'll talk about that today. We're also going to talk about where we went on Sunday.
Oh yes, of course. Where we went Sunday.
Where did we go on Sunday?
We went to the Dorset Wedding Festival. We posted about it a lot last week. It was down near Wareham in Dorset. For those who know,
if anyone knows that part of the world, pretty much right next to Monkey World.
Yes.
We didn't go to Monkey World.
No, we didn't. We went to the Dorset Wedding Fest. And look, we've discussed wedding fairs a few times in the past month or two. We feel there's a shift, a change going on. Suppliers we talk to are saying they're not always getting great results at wedding fairs. Our thoughts are, make sure you choose your wedding fairs and you go to the established ones. That's as a bride and groom, as a couple, and as a supplier.
And the interactive ones, the ones that are giving you more than just a table in a church hall.
Well, I think they have their place, but I do agree with what you're saying.
We are going into this straight away without even talking about the rest of
it. Oh yeah, okay. Well, no, let's come back to it then. Because so we'll come back to Dorset Wedding Fest because it was really good actually.
It was amazing.
So credit where credit's due. And then what else has been significant this week for wedding suppliers and weddings and outdoor weddings?
Well, we launched first of all our new media pack for any of the suppliers who are watching as well. We have some new support packages. We talked about it briefly last week. If you're a supplier and you're watching today, do feel free to go onto our the Outside Bride website. You can find all the details there.
Yep.
But also this week, are you seriously? What's wrong?
I've been up since 4:30, but I don't like to talk about it. Come on, you
we're
can tell the
also
world.
going to be talking a bit briefly this week, as we like to have a topic to talk about. We're going to be talking about the on-the-day setup, so not the day before.
I thought we were still talking about what we've been up to this week. I know that's what we're talking about tonight.
Well, if you think about anything that comes into your head, we've had some really good meetings this week. We've had some chats with some cool people. We've had our first bell tents up of the season.
We did. We've got a couple of YouTube videos being lined up.
We've been doing some filming this week. We've been shed loads of stuff. Shed loads of stuff.
Fab couple of weeks.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do Dorset Wedding Fest first.
Let me finish my point.
Oh.
This evening, we're also going to be talking about the on-the-day setup. So
you just said that.
Not the day before the wedding, not the all the getting the stuff ready, getting all the supplies, and the actual day of your wedding. What would happen in the morning, and getting those last little tweaky bits done the morning of your wedding for your wedding day. So we're going to go through that a little bit because some people forget there's still stuff to do in the morning, and timelines go really, really quickly, and those little details still need to be thought about. So we're just going to go a little bit into that, a little bit of details, just to get you thinking about stuff for your particular day as well. Right. Anyway, Braithwaite, you with the beard and the dodgy shirt.
Dorset Wedding Fest.
Dorset Wedding Fest, yes.
No, it was really, really good, actually. It was, so I also think outdoor wedding fairs they're a bit of a gamble because of the weather.
Yep.
And luckily, Sunday was okay. Saturday was terrible for pretty much the entire country.
Well, we knew it was bad when we arrived at the Dorset Wedding Fest and we saw the clear span marquee that was built. There were a couple of clear spans and they had every single ratchet strap and guy line.
Extra wires. Now, bear in mind,
they don't need them.
Yeah, these are bomb-proofed marquees. That's why
Stop saying bomb-proof.
Oh, it's a phrase. They are pretty robust marquees, and they put the extra kind of wind precautions out on the wires and the cables. So no, they were very, very, very safety conscious, which is good. But no, there was an absolute nice feeling. They were spread over. So normally issue at a wedding fair, if you go into a wedding fair and people are spread into many, many rooms, it's actually a bit like a rabbit warren. It doesn't always flow correctly.
No.
However, this one, they were spread across 3 marquees, but you had to walk through the first marquee to get in. And then the other 2 marquees were in a circle with all of the outdoor supplies and everything else. So you just went round the circle and it was very good. And then the center circle wasn't that big, which was another key part. So I'm not saying it was like 10 meters across, but it was I just gave it the look, everyone. That's because we have this thing in our relationship about interrupting each other's sentences, which we both do. So yeah, it was very important, but it wasn't that big, and it was great. And there was an absolute. We were there 2.5, 3 hours.
I was going to interject with, darling.
Interjecting.
We were literally arriving to have a look at who was there, see if there's anything cool and wish and wow that we've not seen before. We came along with the kids. Obviously, we've got 3 little ones. We were fully prepared not to stay there very long at all because, let's face it, with 3 under the age of 5, they were going to go a bit feral. They were okay.
And we were in work mode.
We were there in work mode, but we were there for hours. And that was not because we were in work mode, because we were enjoying it, because it was a festival. It was the Dorset Wedding Festival. It wasn't the Dorset Wedding Fair. It was the Dorset Wedding Festival.
Yeah, there was live music all the time.
There was live music playing. They had bouncy castles. We love the bouncy castle at wedding. Not everyone does, but they had bouncy castles there. They had face painters and glitter artists there. We had a fish and chip van there, so we stayed and had our lunch there with the kids. There were alpacas. there were alpacas there.
There were
not just one alpaca, not just two. It was an alpaca farm.
It was very cool.
If anyone knows me or is getting to know me, my number one ambition in the world is to have an alpaca.
Your number one ambition?
Yeah, I'm putting it out there. I want to have an alpaca farm. I do. They're so cute.
Okay, you can be an alpaca farm owner, and I can be an adventure athlete.
Come on, if we own an alpaca farm, right? Who wants to get married at our farm?
Would it be called the Alpaca Farm?
Why not?
Well, why? Yeah, why not?
Why overcomplicate it?
Right. If we say it and it goes into the world, basically it's our idea.
Maybe we need to start like a Kickstarter fund.
No one's going to pay for us to buy ourselves a house.
No. Think about this, right? We start a Kickstarter fund for the alpaca farm, and everybody's incentive for paying towards this is that they get to have their wedding at the alpaca farm.
Right. So in Kickstarter, there's always levels. No. So one of the levels can be like they adopt an alpaca, like toilet partnering or adopting a dog.
Or we can give them a bag of alpaca fur every time we have a shearing.
Is an alpaca fur worth an absolute fortune?
Well, worth
the most expensive alpaca male ever sold was something like approaching $750,000. We learned at this farm.
I think you've embellished that slightly.
Right. Apologies, watchers. I'm going to get a picture up here.
I love the fact that we've gone from outdoor weddings to alpacas.
No, it's relevant. Right. Where was the picture? Can I zoom in enough?
Oh, shame.
I've got to show you, right? It's that sign behind that alpaca nose. So all I've done is zoom in on that alpaca nose.
Anyhow, it was really cool, and we had a really great time, and we met some amazing suppliers. There was some gin bars, there were some horse box bars, there were ice cream vans, there were caravans that were acting as photo booths, and it was a really, really good time. And well done to Sam Savage, who organised the event. She does it every single year. This is our 7th. Oh my!
The most expensive female alpaca sold was $180,000, and the most expensive male ever sold was $675,000, just shy of $750,000. Right there we go. Sorry, podcasters. I held a picture.
Do you know what? We've done this on live. It's there as a video forever, and Alan's going to literally turn this off. I was right.
Yes. Right. Anyway, let's get back to weddings. So the Dorset Wedding Fest, very good. The key part here is really the learning point. It's an established wedding fair. There's, I think it was seventh year. Sam knows what she's doing. She's learned, the hard way, for want of a better phrase, tried and tested, quality suppliers, and that's why it's worth going to.
And people were showing what they do in situ right there, rather than showing you a picture or a leaflet or anything like that. They were there in situ, showing you what they can do and how they can do it. It was amazing.
So learning for couples getting married and suppliers is just check your. I mean, if you're going out on a mooch on a Sunday, it doesn't matter where you're going to. But if you want to make sure there's quality things there for you to go and see for your picking list, or for you to advertise your business, do your research, make sure it's established.
The other good thing about an established wedding fair, like the Dorset Wedding Festival and other ones, is that when they take if you're looking and you're on websites and you're looking at types of things what you might want to go and you see one, if they're taking pre-registration, they're taking tickets in advance. That's often a good sign, because they know that they're going to get the footfall through the door. Therefore, they can invest the supplies through on the day as well.
Absolutely.
And you can kind of gauge what kind of size and scale it's going to be. So if they're asking for tickets in advance, that's often quite a good illustration of how good and quality the event is going to be.
Okay, so let's do setup day next, and then we can tell our lovely story about Joe at the end of it. Cool. Do you want to lead on with setup day?
I would love to.
Cool.
So, why we're talking about this week is because, actually, as Alan just mentioned, I did meet up with our competition winner this week, and it was a conversation that we had in our hour session, and it just flagged to me how so many people forget about the on-the-day setup when they're thinking about their marquee or their teepee or their dome or their completely outdoor, no temporary structure kind of type event, because there are so many things you cannot do the day before, and that goes for indoor venues as well. So we've worked at a venue before. It's called the Titchfield Barn. It's a Grade 2 listed barn. But because of the way it is, and because they haven't got the capability of renovating it in the same way. If you look up, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful barn. If you look up, you can see daylight. So often that means
Don't you say rustic?
No, you can see daylight. And they also have bats, and they also have owls, and they have all of that kind of stuff. So quite frankly, if you leave anything on the tables overnight, the night before your wedding, there's a chance of rain, there's a chance of bat poo, all that kind of stuff. You just don't want it. So they suggest that you set up on the morning of. Now, with a marquee wedding, there are things like fresh flowers. There are cakes that need to go out, welcome drinks, all that kind of stuff. You can't do the day before because of the nature of the beast. You know, you're in a or if you're in a clear span marquee, you're in a big greenhouse. If you are setting up flowers, you don't want them to wilt too early.
Well, you're not going to set your cake up the day before.
You don't want to set your cake up the day before because it won't be fresh. If you're doing your own welcome drinks, if you're not engaging with a bar company, if you're doing your own canapes, we did that on the day of our wedding.
Yeah.
We had, bless them, our best man's wife and our family.
You learn by your mistakes, don't you? Didn't we save about 5p?
We were adamant we weren't going
to
to get our catering company to charge us whatever per canapé. So we had blinis and we had cream cheese and salmon, and we were all.
Just in hindsight, for us, that wasn't the right choice.
Not what you want to be doing.
There wasn't enough of a saving in the end in the time, money, health triangle for warrant us doing it.
No,
was there?
No. But
thanks, though, family, for supporting us.
There are things like lawn games. There might be decorations that you want to put outside. For example, paper lanterns can't go out the night before because moisture in the air might make them all go just disintegrate. You might have like tea light in a jam jar that actually, if it's a bit drizzly or forecast of rain, going to fill up with rain, and then someone's got to go out next day. There's a plethora. It's in there. It's in there.
Yes.
There were things like, I'll use the example of a wedding I managed last year. We had a sweetie cart that went outside. We had a photo booth that needed to be set up outside. We had cameras. There was a DIY for that. They had an iPad set up in the corner.
Was it? That's interesting.
We had a fire pit area. We had a little campfire circle and things like they wanted to do a s'mores station. We had marshmallows and skewers and stuff to do s'mores and blankets for the evening to wrap up in. What else do we have out? We have so much going on. We had signage to go out. We had a beautiful gilded mirror that had chalk painting on. Chalk paint doesn't like rain, so you can't leave it out the night before in case it rains because it all ends up drizzling down. We had so much stuff, and all I'm trying to say is those little tiny details, although they are all on their own little details, like putting out some blankets for a campfire, takes a second, 10 seconds, to do it. But you add that up with all the little things you have to do on the morning of the wedding. Meeting caterers, if you've got a hog roast company or a paella company coming in where they have to spend hours cooking on site, they need to be met. They need to be shown where their station is going to be. If you've got a supply coming in for the day, that's, I don't know.
There's a lot of examples.
There are so many examples. All things you could be doing. If you have a...
I'd started looking at my fingers. You so many examples.
VW vans that are camper van, all those kind of things. If you've got a map of where you want things to be put on and people are being met on site, all these little tiny jobs suddenly take a lot of time. And you have to think on the morning of your wedding, who is going to be that person to do those jobs? Because yes, you're doing it yourself. That's amazing. You might have an event manager, and we talk about this weekend.
Well, I say, sorry, Emily, I'm apologies for interrupting, but there is going to be some people who won't actually care about doing it. They're quite, they're not bothered. They're quite not bothered. It's the wrong words. Apologies. They're quite happy as part of their wedding that they want to go to site and spend time doing it. But the flip side is there's going to be a lot who don't want to do that because they want to be, having smoked salmon on toast with champagne and Bucks
It's not even that. So, best example, because it was our wedding and it's easy to reference back.
You can talk about it from the heart.
We had a 12th...
Was it the most amazing day of your life ever?
One of them.
Okay.
The rest of our 3 kids come up there quite closely as well.
Oh, do they? Fair enough. You can have that.
We were married at 12:30. And believe it or not, I was not one to be a stickler for the time. I was there on time for the church. I was there literally like going, get it. All these guests going past me go, I am not late. Keep walking.
This is not all about us. Keep going.
But we got married at 12:30. We got woken up. We had our breakfast. I had 4 adult bridesmaids, a mother of the bride, 2 flower girls, myself, 8 of us. In the house, I also had my dad, my brother, and I'm sure there are other people there as well, but we had 10 of us in the house to get ready. We had hair, we had makeup, we had dresses to fit, we had the last few bits to sort out. We were talking about the blinis we had to be doing. We had to really think carefully. At that time in the morning, it really goes so quickly. In a blink of an eye, we were getting my dress on and we were walking out the door. And I can't believe where that time went. No. We were well chilled.
Very true. It was like Kaiser Soze, like that. It was gone, you know.
God. The boys, on the other hand, now they still didn't have enough. You had quite a few ushers, didn't you? How many ushers did you have?
1, 2,
4, 5, 4.
No, I had a best man. I think I had a best man and 3 ushers.
Okay, but yes, you can say it. They just have to throw on a suit, but it's not
we
that
had
simple.
To moisturise. We had pedicures. We had manicures.
But that time,
I had eyelash tinting to do.
Did you? I like your eyelashes.
We got married 6 years ago, didn't we?
7.
I was going to say 7. Yeah. I wasn't brave enough to go with it.
But they got ready at a cottage because we were at a destination wedding. They got married at a cottage, and our venue was a few miles down the road, so they still had to travel from A to B and meet people and stuff. And all of a sudden that morning just goes really quickly. And luckily, Alan and the boys were on hand, and we had some very good friends who were traveling from Southampton, and they were bringing our flowers, and I trusted them implicitly to get things done. And our catering team were involved with laying out the tables. They put the crockery out, they put things out for us on our behalf, they made our welcome drinks, and it made it all a little bit easier for us. But if you haven't got that on board, you need to think about who your on the day team is going to be. I was talking about this
on the day team.
I was talking about this to Joe on Monday. Get yourself a piece of paper. Now, we have this as part of our planning sessions course anyway, and
module 1 is currently free. Link below in description.
Nice segue. We have talked about it, but it's a PDF basically with line by line what needs to be done exactly to the letter. Because if you're not going to be there on the day and you're trusting someone else, give them detail. Don't just say I want to put over there.
Yeah. That's very important.
Give them detail. Not too much detail that they get completely lost, but enough detail in that little couple of lines to say, I would like the cake put on the table over there next to in this angle
by this time,
and give them an exact description of what they need to do. Break it down into times or slots needs to be done. And also, if you're having things like meeting a supplier, give a role to a person to meet that supplier on the day. And make sure that person has the contact sheet. So we've talked about this lots, about the magic folder we put together, the contact sheet with the supplier details, the number of the supplier that's going to be there on the day to set up. So if you're going, I don't know, for example, a band, you're meeting a band, make sure you have the detail of the band. They might be coming from an agency. The agency on a Saturday might be shut. So it's all very well ringing the agency office, but if they're traveling from afar, you need to be talking to the guitarist, or you need to be talking to the lead singer. You need that number from the person who's coming on the day.
Yeah, because it is really important. Because if they're turning up during your meal, actually, sorry, using the band as an example, we had this at the wedding we were at the other week.
Yeah.
They in conversation, it turned out that what the time they wanted to arrive would have meant that they were sound checking during the meal. And you know, it sounds ridiculous us suggesting these things, but these are the things that happen. You go, yeah, well, we don't need the band until 7 because you've never booked a band before in your life. And the band go, okay, we get there at 5 o'clock then. And you go, yeah, no worries, turn up at 5. They turn up at 5, walk through the middle of speeches and start sound checking. And that's what we're talking about. It's that stuff that you may not know because your normal job is not organising weddings. And you've never booked a band before. So that's what we're talking about.
So our top tips as a whole, and there's so much more you can go into detail about what to do on the actual day of the wedding. Look at your timings, look at your distance. If you're not getting ready at that venue, make sure that people know how to get where and what time they need to travel to. Preferably, if you don't want to if you want your bridesmaids to be involved with getting ready with you and enjoying that morning, is there someone else you can engage the service of? If you've got a really close friend who's not a bridesmaid, or family members that aren't getting ready with you, give them tasks to do instead, and then make sure that you are very, very, very detailed about what you need doing, who needs to do it, and who you'll be meeting, and just try and get that written down in the magic folder behind your bar or on the staging or wherever it needs to be.
Where it's going to live.
And use it.
Cool. Emily, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so we've talked about Jo, but we're just very quickly. Basically, Jo was a competition winner. She won a one-on-one 1 hour to discuss like your wedding. Feedback from Jo was A, she loved me. B, she thought you were okay. And C, she thought I was hilarious. Wore fab shirts and everything else.
What?
No, don't worry about it.
No, Jo, don't get embarrassed if you're watching this, but I did feed back to Alan because it tickled me so much. Now, Jo has been watching us for a good few months now.
Yeah, she's one of our more involved.
Well, she doesn't watch live. She watches the replay a lot because Wednesdays aren't a good night for her because of Scouts and things.
Oh yeah, we know that. We're in Scouts, actually. I remember her saying.
So Jo watches on replay. She's been watching for a while. She's within our Facebook group. She's very active and she chats
Long time
away.
Listener, first time caller.
Well, she called quite a lot.
No, that was from what show was that from? Midnight Caller. Hello, 1984.
So it was really pleased. But one of the first things
thumbs up if you remember Midnight Caller, please.
One of the first things you've just lost a lot. What?
No. It went down a second ago.
One of the first things that she said was, I love watching Ask an Expert. I think you guys are hilarious, which is hilarious. I think she thinks we're hilarious. But she said, Emily.
No, what's important is we think we're hilarious. So she's just validated
She was like, Emily, I love watching you because you're always so straight down the line. You're trying to get your point, like just a second ago, talking about your focus. And Alan goes off track quite a lot, blah, blah. And then apparently I do a face.
Prove it.
I do a face that's like, shut up, Alan, get back on track. I love that. But you don't ever think you're the one who talks too much. I think I talk too much.
Look, one day I'm going to film our actual world to the world and everyone will know.
What was that program?
The Truman Show?
No, it was more The Real House of whatever, where people had the cameras in the house and they were living in a house.
That could be like a million things.
Okay.
That could be from the Osbournes. No. Anyway, Jo, Emily, loved meeting you. Thank you so much for your present. Genuinely, hand on heart, I was a little bit emotional when Emily brought those presents back and said, Jo made these for us. There's a picture on Instagram and on the Facebook page about them. So thank you so much, Jo. We're glad you enjoyed your competition prize.
So for anyone who doesn't know, so Jo had a 1-to-1 with us, an hour consultation, and she was used to talk about any aspect of her wedding that she wanted to do. So she's getting married in July, and we chatted through that the next few months of just getting that ship in order, making sure it's ready to go on the day. We do offer that as a service as well. We don't offer it always face to face. If you're in the Hampshire area, fantastic.
Well, you can be international, really, can't it?
But we do offer that as a service on a Skype, FaceTime, video chat.
Link in description to that product.
If you are getting married and you just need someone, you're not engaging in the service of a full wedding planner or an on-the-day coordinator, or you are literally living in your own kind of little bubble of, I just need to talk to someone who's not in my immediate
that's it,
circle.
Isn't it? It's that person outside your circle.
We do offer that as a service. We are happy to chat. You know by now, we chat a lot. We chat a lot.
If you can't be bothered to trawl through 64 episodes of Ask an Expert, then you can have a one-on-one.
Sometimes it's just good to have a bit of a sounding board from someone external to your little group. We are happy to help. And again, Alan said, if you put the link in the description to where you can book your slot, and we will happily chat to you.
Yes. Right. That's it, I think, for tonight.
Your hands are very close to my face then.
Right. Well, as married, my hands have been pretty close to you before, as a married couple with 3 children. Right. Thank you. Well, I didn't mean it like that. Thank you ever so much for watching and listening. As always, please do thumbs up, comment and subscribe if you're a YouTuber. Please hearts and follows if you're a SoundClouder, and ratings and reviews if you're a iTuneser. Thank you so much for following us, and we know you all listen to every second of every 64 episodes.
Oh my goodness, I hope you do.
Can you imagine that? One day I might listen to them back. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.